How many of you guys love fairy tales or have kids who love fairy tales? I know I do, and I'm trying to get my kids into it, and you guys probably will love some of these books that we have to show today. The first one is Peek Inside a Fairy Tale Cinderella. This is part of our Peek Inside series, which are usually nonfiction topics, but we have a fairy tale series that includes Sleeping Beauty and Beauty and the Beast and Little Red Riding Hood, and then this Cinderella book. You can just see these are beautiful illustrations. The Peek Insides are wonderful because they do have some flaps, but not so many that it's overwhelming. And it just tells a really adorable story. I just love the colors in this book. My son just loves this book. He just can't put it down because it's just so intriguing. Peek Inside Cinderella. Then we have one of our new releases. This is Muddle and Match Fairy Tales. So if you guys are familiar with the Muddle and Match series, then you'll know that it comes with these flaps. And on this side you have a story about a character that's all in alliteration. So this one is Puss, a purring pampered pet, polishes his perfectly princely boots and proudly practices Pussycat pounces. Try to say that 2 times, 3 times fast, right? And then you can mix up the story. So we have Goldilocks, but then we can change her so that we have a new story, or she's wearing something different, or the character is different. But what I do really love about this book in particular is that this one actually does kind of tell the fairy tale on each page, which is just kind of cool. You know, most of them, they're just kind of random, but this one actually does kind of tell the story correctly, which is just cool. And also you could tell that this book is super, super durable. Like, you can wipe it clean. It's really hard to rip. It's just super sturdy. So this is great for little hands. Nibbles the Book Monster. This is a storybook. So it's not a fairy tale, but what I love about it is that you've got this character Nibbles that gets out of his cage and gets into all of these little fairy tale stories, like Jack and Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Jack and the Beanstalk, Little Red Riding Hood. So he nibbles into all of these fairy tales and changes, there's Jack and the Beanstalk, the story. And then at the end, you get to put him back in his cage. Kids love this. This is just a super creative, genius book. And it's just so, there's so much to do in it, and kids can interact with it, and it's just amazing. If you guys have ever seen some of our illustrated storybooks before, these are beautiful books, and this happens to be illustrated fairy tales. And these come with 8 stories in each one. So this is for the slightly older reader, probably your 7, 8 and up. I just want you guys to see the illustrations in this. And it's abridged stories. So you can either read it to your child, or when they get to read it themselves, they can. It's just a really beautiful book. This one happens to have, let's see, Sleeping Beauty, Emperor and the Nightingale, Beauty and the Beast, and the Frog Prince, and a few others. We do have this series in classic stories, Huckleberry Finn, stories for boys, stories for girls, stories from around the world, so it comes in a lot of different choices. The last one I wanted to show you isn't exactly a fairy tale, but it's part of our picture book series that has a lot of fairy tales like Little Red Riding Hood and Goldilocks and such. But this is my Anne of Green Gables book. This is another one that my son just fell in love with the second he saw it. First of all, you can see that it's got a really plush, actually kind of cushiony cover on it. And again, this is an abridged story, and you can either read it to your child, or when they get a little older, they can read it themselves. So this is the story of Anne of Green Gables when she comes to live with her new family. It just reminds me of the books I used to have as a kid, when I had all of these abridged short stories like The Wizard of Oz and such, which is one of the choices that you can get here. I used to just really love reading the classics, quote unquote, but in short form. And that's what these are. So this is our picture book series. Hope you enjoyed it and can't wait to show you more.